iPad babies, a term often used to describe infants or small children who are seemingly being raised on a device. Over the years, every time I would go out into a restaurant, I would hear the ear-screeching sounds of a child watching Cocomelon on full blast. Sometimes I would witness a parent to try lowering the volume or even turning off the device, but the child would immediately pitch a fit and get the device returned to them. I was always questioning their behavior. I feel like I was also raised on a screen. PBS KIDS was my entire childhood. Every single day, you could catch me watching the latest episode of Dinosaur Train or Wild Kratts, which are some of my favorites, by the way. And looking back, I don't think a single TV show I watched wasn't educational. Sure it was TV, but it was educational TV. And even though I watched an ungodly amount of TV, I don't ever remember feeling so dependent on them. I never pitched a fit in public like that. And kids today, they seem to be fed, in my opinion, brightly colored, fast-paced, catchy videos that shorten their attention span and overstimulate them, that only encourage worse behavior, and now they seem stunted in both social and educational standards that were once held. This is seen at a school level, as in a study from the Pediatrics article, the immediate impact of different types of television on young children's executive function from the National Library of Medicine. An experiment was done that compared the effects between children who watched fast-paced cartoons versus children who watched slower-paced cartoons. The results between these two studies showed that even a small amount of fast-paced cartoon, something like you would watch on a TikTok video, would negatively affect the child's executive function to a significant noticeable amount. And not only that, paired with the fact that toddlers are watching hours and hours on end of this kind of content, it's affecting them to such a large scale that it's showing in classrooms. As teachers from the UK report in the Institute of Health Visiting, more than 3/4 of teachers say that they are spending more time supporting children who are not school ready. Not only that, according to the survey they took, nearly half, 46% of pupils are unable to sit still, while 38% struggle to play and share with others. And more than a third, 37%, cannot even dress themselves. 29% can't eat or drink independently, and more than a quarter, 28%, are using books incorrectly, swiping or tapping on them as they were using a tablet. Teachers are having to spend more and more time addressing these issues that should have been addressed before they even entered school, that they should have naturally learned, or at least had a parent teach them. And they lose valuable learning time. They don't learn the proper spelling or basic pre-K stuff, because their teachers have to spend time teaching them things they should already know, leaving them unprepared for the next grade level. And as the cycle continues, each grade level is going to be overall behind in general, lowering the overall education standard. And screen time isn't just affecting this part of education. Education across all around the world is being hindered like this. It's also hindering basic or normal skills that should have been developed, as stated before, things that their parents should have taught them, like how to dress themselves. Skills such as gripping a pen or pencil, fine motor skills, are being impacted. According to the fundamental motor skills, screen time and physical activity in preschoolers in the National Library of Medicine, preschoolers aged children's manual dexterity skills were inversely related to their screen time. Children who engaged in more screen time performed worse in an MBC2 manual dexterity subscale, which is a scale used to measure fine motor skills such as hand-eye coordination and finger dexterity, and things like in writing or just playing with blocks. These results also correlate with the Egyptian Journal of Hospital Medicine, with Group A, while they test two groups, Group A being a group of preschoolers who frequently use touchscreens, and Group B being a group who didn't use touchscreens. There was a significant decrease in the raw score of grasping the visual motor integration of Group A compared of Group B. And not only that, And not only are these screens affecting their motor skills, they're also affecting their social and emotional behavior. And the reason why I decided to make this video was because I was bothered by the fact that kids today don't even know iconic childhood titles such as The Larks by Dr. Seuss, along with other books that I consider to be childhood classics, such as Curious George, or Berenstain Bears, or Amelia Bedelia. These kids don't know them. They can't tell you what the plot is or who even the characters are, despite The Larks having an extremely successful movie back in 2012. Books like these discuss serious topics such as corporate greed and environmental sustainability, but are presented in a way that children can understand. As a 5-year-old, I didn't understand that The Larks was about climate change and corporate greed, but I did understand that when the Onceler was chopping down all the trees and ruining the forest, that was bad because the animals lost their home. You could see in coloring how dirty it became, and as a child, anyone can understand that was wrong, and that instilled morals in me of protecting the environment. Books like Curious George are about being curious and not being afraid to make mistakes. Books like The Berenstain Bears cover family dynamics and relationships, and they help us grow socially and emotionally. Even if you don't have that kind of interaction all the time, you still have some sort of basis. And as the article Stories and Storytelling for Moral Education says, children want to hear or read stories over and over again. They remember specifics in the tales. That's why I'm still able to remember these stories, despite having not read any of these for over 10 years. They're a core part of my morals. Children imitate the things they see, with the phrase, monkey see, monkey do. Disrespectful behavior is often observed based on the type of media children consume and the type of books they're reading, or they're not reading. That's why it's so important to show children things that are educational, such as PBS KIDS, which is an educational-based learning channel that was up until recently free for most viewers to watch. And they should rather watch shows like that or read books with strong morals, as most picture books still do, publish books with strong morals like this. They just aren't being consumed. Instead, they're consuming hyperactive, attention-soaking media such as Cocomelon, Lil Bum Bum, and those annoying nursery rhyme videos that change everything. I don't like them. Showing them stories while they may be old-fashioned will still play a culturally significant role that's crucial. You can already see the difference in morals and values of people who were raised on material like Dr. Seuss versus children who weren't and never got that opportunity.